taxes, or I can start.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Again, I don't know. I
I need $10 million.
oh yeah, this is.
It cut the aquatic center out. If I close the aquatic center, it's going to cost me $300,000 a year just to shutter it, just to lock the doors.
Yeah, right.
Got to put them in some kind of clothes because I put them in harness way and get them dirty all day long.
You found one? Thank you, baby.
You can't come and not bring us dessert.
They bring the case. Look, she bring some peppermint.
I don't know how to open it. But I didn't cut a department. I just reduced departments by a little bit all across. And then I was able to come up with if we are able to grow our community like we think we're going to over the next 3 years.
For the graduate, I got you. I got you. Yeah, yeah.
Right now, it's a cash flow. I'm not.
What's going
I know.
on, Miss Erica?
Thank you for the
How
letter.
you doing?
I mean that. Thank you.
Right down? Mm-hmm. Hey! When is it? What date? Give me a date. I'm ready. Okay, awesome. Appreciate that. Thank you.
You still see? Okay.
We're gonna vote on the budget, even without her here. Steve said, screw up everything because of the second part that's in there about our millage rate that goes forward. So we're gonna vote on the.
You heard that? Karen Gunn passed away yesterday with Griffin Daily News. What we just told Larry, he said she passed away. That's all.
She's in flight.
Okay.
Plane can't get out.
Gotcha, gotcha.
She's stuck.
Mics are hot.
Hawaii.
Mics are hot.
Okay.
Mics are hot.
Hey,
All right.
is she gonna call in?
She's on a plane.
Oh, she's on a plane, okay. I heard she was stuck in Hawaii. Oh, okay.
It was.
Oh, no, I'm stuck in Hawaii. We were gonna tease her. Oh, you know, when I was in Costa Rica, I called in, I just didn't know if she. Yeah.
Tanya, are we streaming? Yeah.
Where's that? Is it done?
Almost.
Okay,
Now it is.
okay. Good evening and welcome to the Spalding County Board of Commissioners, May 19th, 2025 extraordinary session. I would ask that you please silence your cell phones and all other electronic devices. At this time, I'd ask Commissioner Dutton to deliver the invocation and Commissioner Watts to lead us in the pledge to the flag.
Please join me in prayer tonight. Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Father, we just want to come forward today and express our gratitude. Gratitude for the ability to be born in this awesome, awesome country, to live in this wonderful community in this great state. Father, please help us to be more cognizant of all the blessings that we have in this life. Father, there's lots to see around us that is negative, that is imperfect. Father, please help us to understand just how blessed we are so that we can focus on those positives and not those negatives. Father, be with our first responders, our emergency personnel, our military personnel, our government officials, that they can be strengthened, guided, and protected, that they can return to their families when their time is right. Father, we ask a blessing tonight of comfort and of thy spirit. Father, We have choices before the county that will affect us all. Father, we ask that thy will be done, that we can know thy will, that we as government officials will be able to act in accordance with that will. Father, please bless those that have also taken time out of their lives to come tonight. Bless them for their service, their public service, their ability and desire to affect the changes here in Spalding County. Father, bless them, bless their families. Father, we ask these blessings humbly in the name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Follow me as we say the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioners. I will entertain a motion at this time to enter into public hearing for the fiscal year 2026 budget. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, unanimous. Dr. Ledbetter, do we have anybody who signed up to speak for the public hearing?
Yes, sir, we do. Let's see, Bruce Ledbetter.
Bruce Ledbetter, 240 Robert Street.
Welcome.
Well, I could talk all night about that budget and some of the stuff going on, the judgeships, the containers, bulk. But I'm gonna have a little sit down tomorrow and I'll know a little bit more next time on that one. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce.
Miss Jewel Walker Harps.
Welcome back, Miss Jewel.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is, you don't have to tell me, I just go, okay, my name is Jewel Walker Harbs. I live at 103 Mike Ethel Drive, Griffin, Georgia, 30224. And I want to speak on the budget. Let me say first, I feel your pain while you're trying to stretch the dollars, and I know some of you are compassionate. However, I feel the need, or what I did say, I'm here representing the NAACP. I want to stress how important I feel that, and my group feels that, keeping the garbage collection station intact. The convenience of trash disposal is one thing that every household values. The need to properly dispose of trash without traveling across town will lessen the beauty of this community. The quality of life of this community would be drastically impacted if we were to go back to having to endure the sight of trash and garbage everywhere. More importantly, the idea that you would deprive the people who are being served, but enhance your own economic well-being is just disturbing. I'm going to ask each of you to search your hearts and your soul and recall when you were elected and portrayed yourself as service to the community. If this is what you had in mind, the majority of us cannot believe that you are comfortable with demanding salaries, which are so much more on a part-time humanitarian job than they earn on a 5-day-a-week, 9-to-5 job, which has to determine their livelihood. People are watching. Those of us who don't make quite so much, we wonder how it feels in your heart to be a part of that. What is happening in other cities, would not determine what is happening here. We're concerned about the survival of the people in this community, which you are supposed to love and care for and want them to survive and be comfortable. You apparently have no idea of how the large number of deprived people in this community are going to feel when they learn that you are trying to increase the large salary that you already receive and that they cannot currently pay rent, utilities, medical expenses, and do other cuts which are anticipated. Whether you are entitled or not
Thank you, Ms. Jewell.
is not the question. We can't afford it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jewell. Fred Nelson.
Fred Nelson, 2260 Locust Grove Road. This is my first time ever coming up here to speak. and
Welcome.
We're good to go?
Yes, sir.
Welcome. Good.
Yes, sir.
So, I'm just not seeing this budget as far as being able to stretch it. I spent 20 years in the United States Army. I retired as a first sergeant.
Cool.
We had to make the mission happen with whatever budget we were given. And for 20 years, I made that happen. I'm sure there's some level of transparency or something, like I will volunteer my time. I'll come down here. I don't want a paycheck. I'll come down here. I will scrub through budget, whatever you need. If I need to take up a shift at the trash collection point, something, I'll do it. I just can't see this budget moving forward, living on a fixed income. It's not just me, there's a lot of people living on a fixed income. So I just hope you take that into consideration when you make these decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, First Sergeant.
Patsy Pledger.
Hello, I'm Patsy Pledger. I am a Spalding County taxpayer, and this is not my first rodeo. I've been here before. And you said I could talk on two different subjects at a different time. So this is about the budget. I don't know how y'all could compare us to DeKalb County. It is such a large county that they could eat us and swallow us whole. How could you compare and get the budget, y'all's budget, that you want to raise compared to DeKalb County? And we only got a little over 2.5% raise is what we got, a COLA raise. One bill took care of that whole thing. And y'all, I worked all my life, ever since I'm 85, and I've been working since I was 14, 15 years old. I traveled up and down the road 30 and a half years, and I never made what y'all want to make, never. It's just not right. There's too many people that's suffering in this town. And, y'all don't work 7 days a week. Y'all don't work 5 days a week. It just don't seem possible that you could possibly ask for it with so much going on in this county. And I do want to come back and speak about the trash. May I do that?
You have 3 minutes, ma'am.
But I was told I could speak another time.
Yes, ma'am. During
Okay.
the citizen comments, you have another opportunity to speak.
Okay, thank you so much.
All right.
Mr. Chairman, if I could ask the county manager a question. Did you base our budget off of DeKalb County's budget? Is our budget based on DeKalb County's?
No, sir.
Okay, I didn't think so. I certainly, when we were sitting here going over it for the 2 weeks that we were here every single day, and here it is. We never compared anything to DeKalb County, so I just didn't. Just hearing that for the first time, so I just wanted to clarify with you that. Okay, just making sure.
Okay, next.
Tyler.
Good evening. Tyler Beard, 525 South 6th Street, Griffin, Georgia. I've done this a few times, and I get nervous every time, so bear with me. But I think what she was referring to, DeKalb County, was the pay increase, if I'm not mistaken. But like I said, I've spoken to this board a few times and at the Board of Education, and I typically like to stick to the facts. I like to avoid the emotional highlight reel. But regarding the proposed pay increase for the Board of Commissioners, given the continued reoccurrence of we don't have enough money, which I understand. I do understand the budget. I understand the position that Spalding County is in. A fair amount that we caught between not wanting development, needing development to unburden the taxpayer. That is a fair assessment. But we talk about not being able to staff firehouses. We talk about we got to prepare for tax increase, whether it's through millage rates or assessments just to keep the lights on. Then we propose what will total to an amount of $62,000 pay increase across the board for the Board of Commissioners. That's at best tone deaf, I feel. You know, and Dr. Ledbetter mentioned it in an article I was reading that your expenses do need to be covered, and that is fair. But 25,000, 30,000, 35,000, 55,000, or 50,000. I mean, what are we expensing? Shouldn't be a job. Mr. Nelson, you know, used an example of wanting to volunteer his time on a fixed income. This is a service that you guys are doing. And much like Nancy Pelosi or Mitch McConnell, if you start treating it like a job, it might be time for the voters to start looking in another direction. I care about Spalding County. I want the leadership to be wanting what's best for Spalding County, and I do believe that you guys have that intention at times. But this is something that the timing's pretty poor. You know, with $62,000, you could hire another sheriff's deputy. You could hire another firefighter. You can hire another paramedic that's certified at $61,000 a year. Those are things that we've struggled to pay, and I think that that's more important. And there's also a job, you know, posted for election assistants at $42,000 a year. So if somebody wants that job, you know, it might be a good time to apply for it. But yeah, I just think it's bad timing. If you guys want to do it later when we're back on our feet and we can staff a firehouse more than 2 firefighters, then that'd be the time. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler.
Amos Surratt.
Amos Surratt, 336 Bar H Road, Griffin. The budget, as far as I'm concerned, from the numbers I've seen, you're trying to increase y'all's pay $30,000 plus the 2.5% on top of that. That's ridiculous. You make $50-something thousand be down here, and whoever's running the budget needs to go back to school and learn how to do a budget. Because y'all approved the 155 development over there you're gonna get at least $4 million a year out of that for taxes. And then what are you gonna do with their trash, their money? You gonna sit here and waste it? Like the man said, y'all could get in there and buy hire a fireman, an extra police officer or two on what just y'all's increase in money is, and figure out how to cut some of the waste out of this county. You got a brand new fire truck for the fire chief. He could have probably went another 2 years with that truck he's had. But yet y'all waste money. Oh, we got to look good. Y'all bought new police cars too. They could have probably went at least another year. I just think there's too much waste in this county for y'all to want to keep just taxing and cutting. People need to get out and ride around the district you're in and see what's going on. You cut them collection centers, get down and see what the side of the road's gonna look like in 6 months. Who's gonna make the turn lanes for the 2 that you're gonna keep open? If you do the one in Woodruff on Georgia 3, y'all can't do it, the state will have to do it. And then y'all have to go beg money from the state or see if they'll do it. You'll have traffic backed up everywhere. So, like I said, y'all need to get out and see what's in your districts and talk to people instead of sitting in the desk all day.
Thank you, Amos.
County Manager, this proposed budget has a pretty big increase for the sheriff's between the jail and the road. How much was the total that we increased the sheriff's budget in this one?
The equivalent of 5 additional deputies for the road.
And how many additional for the jail?
An additional 5 to be considered in January.
So I believe all total that's like a 1.7 million thereabout increase for the sheriff's department budget?
Yes, sir.
Okay, just making sure.
Mr. Chair, that's all signed up for the budget.
Motion to come out of public hearing.
Oh, we're gonna let Steve talk first.
Oh.
Okay,
Withdrawn.
thank you. At this time, I would ask the county manager to present the staff's recommendation for fiscal year 2026 budget. Dr. Ledbetter?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Commissioners. It's my privilege to present to you the budget for fiscal year 26 as was provided in the week-long discussion that we had just a few weeks ago, where we went through every single line item for every single department. Those meetings were open for the public to come and participate so that everyone could see exactly where each of our departments needed funds for the work that we perform and the services that we provide to our community. Some of the conversations that we had during those sessions were very instrumental. You saw where my red pen cut a considerable amount of funding for each of our departments in order to align with the direction that the Board of Commissioners had indicated that we were to go, and that was no additional taxes, no increases for the millage rate, and work very diligently to reduce the tax burdens for all of our taxpayers in the community, of which I am one. The challenge that we had was that those meetings lasted about 8 hours each day that we participated, and to schedule those meetings for evening sessions would have lasted well into the evening hours. Our intent was to provide as much time as was needed for the questions that the Board of Commissioners had for each of our departments, so that we could have good conversation in an open session for how we managed the onset of the development of our budget. But I do want to highlight.
Dr. Ledbetter,
fact-
can I ask
Yes,
you a question?
please.
Sorry to interrupt
Yes,
you.
sir.
I know that I personally invited everybody to come and take a look at our giant budget and to walk through it. And I volunteered you specifically with your PhD in government management to walk through it with them. Did anyone take you up on that at all?
They have not, no, sir.
That's a real shame.
So I do want to highlight the fact that we did have a schedule. The schedule was published early on this year and went through June the 16th. And if you notice on the bottom portion of the page that's on the screen, the May 5 through 9, May 19, June the 2nd, and the June 16th have been scratched through because we had to expedite our budget process this year. And the reason we had to do that was because of Georgia House Bill 581 and Georgia House Bill 92, the cleanup of House Bill 581. The cleanup for House Bill 92 indicated that we had to prepare and certify our rollback rate, our estimated rollback rate, and I'm going to say that one more time, our estimated rollback rate for the Department of Revenue and the Department of Audits 15 days prior to the tax notifications being sent to us as taxpayers. Well, the tax bill notification for the estimated taxes for this coming year are actually at the printers and working to be provided to us as taxpayers by the second week of June. So tonight is the last night that we have before those tax bills actually hit the mailbox to certify that rollback rate. So we had to expedite our schedule, and you're seeing that on the screen this evening. Our first reading for our budget was May the 5th, and our second reading is this evening for May the 19th. And again, the estimated tax bills will go out. They will hit the mailbox within the next few days. So here we are at the budget hearings, the adoption of the fiscal year 26 expenditure budget. And remember, we have two budgets. One is the expenditure budget, which indicates the services that we have been asked to provide for our community based on the mandatory services, plus those additional services that we provide for our community. And then the second budget that we have is a revenue budget, which provides us with the funding to satisfy the expenditure side of the equation. So this year, staff is recommending that we have a budget for our expenditure side of $75,634,450. You will notice that it is a slight increase over last year of $73,598,665. And I do want to go through just a few minutes and share with you what each one of the line items looks like from our budget from last year to this year. Before I get there, I do want to highlight the fact that we are staying in very close contact with the tax assessor's office. This board does not set the taxation for our property. The tax assessors do. They provide this consolidation sheet. This is this is not an example. This is actually a draft of that document that they provide for us. They are providing us with a draft on a weekly basis right now. Mr. Robbie Williams is the chief tax appraiser for the county, and he is providing this information for us so that we will know exactly how much we need to ask through the certification of the rollback in order to provide the information through resolution to the Department of Revenue and Audits with respect to the certification of the rollback for this year. You will notice that we also have provided the board with the 5-year tax levy. So if you look year over year, the gross M&O millage rate from 2020 through 2025 does indicate a reduction in the gross millage rate. One of the things that I do want to highlight on this page is the very top line that talks about the real and personal property. The real and personal property, the assessments are one thing, but you've also got additional growth. And one of the gentlemen that was just here, Mr. Amos, was talking specifically about the increased amount of development that we have in our community. For the 155 property that was just recently approved by the Board of Commissioners, those properties will begin development most likely by the end of this year, and they've got a growth rate of about 20 to 50 homes per year over the next 20 years. We will not see the tax money coming in for those properties until at least the January of 2028, because they have to be fully in place for 1 year before tax money becomes a part of the revenue stream. But I do want to highlight that top line that talks about the real and personal property moving from $1.8 billion to $3.2 billion for the property. The growth that we're having in our community is about 250 to 500 homes or other property development per year. Those number of houses that come in do address the gross digest coming into our community. We are prayerful that those homes that are coming in are homesteaded. That means that those are families who are coming and making Spalding County their permanent home, their forever home, and they're claiming homestead exemption. And as a result of them claiming homestead or not, the other properties coming in for rental or for commercial development, that makes a big difference in that top number for gross digest. And that gross digest growth is actually what really impacts the bottom line for the revenue, and it supports the opportunity for us to reduce our millage rate year over year. So it's not just about the assessments going up. It is about additional growth coming in. And one of the other gentlemen that was talking this evening talked specifically about increasing the amount of growth coming in to offset our property tax. And I thought that was a wonderful statement. So kudos to the gentleman who made that comment. And then if you look in the bottom right-hand corner where the red circle is drawn, you will notice that there is a 4.74% increase in the amount of revenue funding coming in, taking us to $44,959,515 with a 15.45 mills on the net millage rate, which is also a reduction in millage rate. But I do want to caution us from saying that that's a 4.74% increase on my tax bill. If we go back and take a look at the numbers with respect to the amount of real property per home increase, we are seeing a 2.1% increase in valuation this year. So back to the comment that the first sergeant was making with respect to a 2.5% increase in monies. This is a 2.1%, so it's less than what the COLA is indicated. And for that, I am thankful because my taxes are only going up slightly this year compared to what they have been previously. So I'm very thankful for that. But we are running a very lean budget this year, and I do want to come back to each line item and show you where those increases are and what those increases entail. So if you will notice, it is a balanced budget between the expenditures and the amount of revenue, and that's a good thing. But I do want to highlight the fact that the expected overage, we're running so lean that it's a roughly $264,064.07 delta between what our expenses are projected and the revenue that is projected. So we are running extremely lean this year. If you look at the bottom line, you will notice that year over year, the delta between the monthly average and the fiscal is running very, very lean. So I'm happy to report that we are really paying attention to our budget. If we look at what the average valued home cost will be for taxes this year, the average home in Spalding County for 2025 is listed as at $234,665. That is the average valued home. And the amount of tax, not only for unincorporated, but for the fire district and the school, is listed at $3,302.96 for 2025. For 2026, January 2026. For 2025, this past year, that number was $3,222.87. So the difference is a $19 savings in taxes this year versus last year. You'll also notice that the information below shows you where the money is going per line item. So for the school system, it's 47 cents of the dollar goes to the school system, 43 cents goes to Spalding County maintenance and operation budget, and then a dime goes to the fire district tax.
Dr. Ledbetter, if I could make a comment to everybody. Dr. Ledbetter talks about the average cost of the home. That does not mean that everybody's home is going to go down on taxes. It's just a bell curve. We're talking about average, so I want to make sure everybody understands that we're talking about an average. There's going to be some that are on one end. It's going to go down $38, $52, something like that. There's going to be some that are going to go up. So when you look at it and you say, oh, everybody's going to go $19 less than they have before. Secondly, this is the first year that I can remember that we're looking at having a tax reduction throughout the county. For years before, we have always talked about reducing the millage rate, which Dr. Ledbetter talked about, but we have not, in fact, done a tax reduction. This will be the first year in years and years and years where we are looking at specifically a tax reduction. Excuse me, Dr. Ledbetter, go ahead, please.
Thank you very much, sir. So I want to highlight some of those major changes that we talked about just a few moments ago. So back to the increase for our personnel. This is a 2.5% increase for their salaries for the jobs that they perform. How did we obtain the 2.5%? We did exactly what was discussed earlier. This is the same amount that the veterans are receiving for their increase this year. If you look at Social Security, it appears that the Social Security increase will be a little bit higher than the 2.5, but we wanted to make sure that we had a figure that was defendable to make sure that our employees knew how much we cared for them. We wanted to make sure that we were staying in line with what we promised them last year. So the 2.5% increase is the recommendation from staff. It's also, if you notice here, several months ago, you as a board did approve the increase for one additional personnel for a records retention officer or administrator. That is added into this figure. We just wanted to highlight the fact that it's still there. The information technologies system, this board approved for us to make the transition to a financial software that is much more transparent for our community online. And we made that transition, and we have all of Tyler System software listed in the IT services because that's where that software lives, and it affords us the opportunity to be more transparent with how much we're spending for that software. For general appropriations, this board asked that staff consider and budget for a $500,000 per year investment into our sewer system. And that's added in as general appropriations here. This is an investment in our long-term strategy to bring manufacturing, industrial, and commercial into our community to reduce the tax burden on our residents. One of the major changes for this year is the second state court judge. Our local legislators with under the Gold Dome and the governor signed into legislation the requirement of installing a second state court judge to address the large amount of cases that we currently have on the docket. I believe there are about 6,000 cases on the docket, and some of those cases are more than 2 years old. Speedy trial is a major part of our society, and this is an opportunity for the state to say, all right, we agree this is something that needs to be done, but this is an unfunded mandate for our community. The cost for this state court judge, the clerk, the solicitor, the investigator, and the Sheriff's Department staff in order to support this particular court will be approximately $2 million. It's $1.97 million is what we're seeing today. We are not looking to stand that court up in July. We have asked specifically that this court be stood up in January and afford us the opportunity to gain a little bit of momentum with respect to the revenue that we have coming in order to satisfy the expenditure side of the budget for this court. That's why you're seeing only a $970,000 expenditure on this line item, but please know this is $1 million short of the full year expenditure rate. So there's a lot of money that's required for this second state court judge. Uniform Patrol Division and the jail for the Sheriff's Department, this is an increase for the number of deputies. We believe that with our growing community that this is a requirement. So we have added additional deputies for the Sheriff's Department. The reduction of the unfilled positions at the Corrections Institute, the warden has indicated that 8 of those COs would be non-filled, along with 1 deputy warden. We will reduce the number of inmates that we have from 225 to 100 in January of 2026 to help us with the cash flow specifically for the second state court judge. The state changed by legislation the number of probationers that the Sentence Enforcement or Probation Department can oversee. This has required an increase for the amount of people that we need in order to satisfy the requirements of this department.
Unfunded mandate.
Unfunded mandate, yes, sir. Our community is growing, and sadly what that has meant for our coroner is that we have seen more people who have left our community, and it increased his budget slightly, but there is an increase there. One of the things that we were facing during this legislative session was a significant increase to the funding for that position. That bill did not make it through committee, so we expect that that bill will be back in front of us next year, and that might be an additional unfunded mandate. maintenance cost has decreased for the 800 megahertz radio system for our communications, for the fire department, the EMS, and for our sheriff's deputies. But there is another unfunded mandate that has been signed into law by the governor, and that is Next Gen 911. We are unsure how much this requirement is going to cost our community. We have not placed any funding into the budget for that purpose, recognizing that we may need to come back before you and ask for money to be expended out of our general fund balance to offset those requirements. That specific legislation could be anywhere from $75,000 to $250,000. We're still not sure, and the state is working through upgrading the software and letting us know which direction they would have us go. Staff is working in the background to understand more about the impact that will have on us, but we expect that we will know something around the October or November time period. There continues to be a $1 million fund for road improvements. So this is for potholes, side road buildup, emergency bridge repairs, and we've had a few of those this year because of the rain that we've had. Turbidity has worn out some of the bridges and actually caused them to fail. So that funding is still available for us. For the easement crew, staff's recommendation is that we only fund this department at minimum staffing for this year, recognizing that as we continue to grow our community through development, that stormwater is increasingly becoming a challenge for us, and it is an opportunity that we will continue to address. For solid waste, we are making a recommendation that we move from 5 centers to 2 centers for our community. This is, again, a cash flow issue. It is not to reduce one department over another. It is to reduce a few departments by a little in order to satisfy the unfunded mandate requirements. The Handlighter Spalding properties, the monies that you see here is only for the cost of the utilities while we complete the life safety requirements to bring that building up to code. One of the things that I do want to highlight is that the Aquatic Center, you will see that we have a $324,846 reduction in the budget for the Aquatic Center. That funding is just for the gate proceeds that we are seeing from people taking advantage of that facility. I can only assume that that number will continue to grow over next year as people continue to utilize that facility. And we do encourage our community to continue to use that facility well so that we can offset the cost to our taxpayers. The code enforcement, we are increasing one full-time code enforcement officer this year. Sunnyside, the cost of rental for that facility has reduced the burden for that line item. The only thing that you're seeing there is just for the cost of utilities. The rental fees are taking care of all the other needs. One of the things that I would like to highlight is that that building is being used quite a bit, so good for our community to take advantage of that facility. Overall, you're seeing an increase to the fiscal year 26 budget of only 2.77%. And at this time, I would entertain any questions that the board may have.
Commissioners, any questions of the? All right, we can have a discussion when we get ready to vote on it, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Ledbetter. I'd also like to thank the people who came forward to speak on the budget. It is important to us, and sometimes you may not think it is, but it's important to us to listen to what the citizens say on specific issues as we try to increase or decrease budget items. Dr. Ledbetter and his staff have done what I consider an absolutely great job in taking the guidance from the Board of Commissioners and taking that broad guidance and putting it into a very specific, and as you can see, These two books are just the budget. They combine, they're not just one book and two copies. It is just one book. And when Dr. Ledbetter talked about us going through it, that we went through it page by page by page, trying to figure out how to do what we wanted to get done. So I thank you for that. At this time, I'd like to have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
And a second?
At the right time this time.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. 4-0. Public hearing is now closed. At this time, I'd like to ask Ms. Erica Dye to present the April 2025 fiscal statement.
Good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Dye.
Hold on, I'm going the wrong way. One moment. There we go. All right. The upcoming presentation is going to summarize the county's financial activities for fiscal year 2025 as of April the 30th, covering revenue collections, expenditures, and encumbrances for the current general fund and fire fund budgets only. As of April 30th, 10 months have passed in the present fiscal year, which account for 83.33% of the budget. General fund revenues, as you can see on the slide, are $65.5 million, which is 91% of the budget. General fund expenditures and encumbrances total $56.2 million, which account for 77% of the budget. Our fire district revenues are $10.6 million, which constitute 112% of their budget, and the fire district expenditures total $14.7 million, which includes $7.6 million for encumbrances, which is 84% of the budget. The chart on the screen shows our cumulative revenues and expenditures over the fiscal year. As you'll notice, by April the 30th, our revenues have increased by 7%, and our expenditures have risen by 5%. As of the end of April, revenues are higher than expenditures, which is a positive sign for the county's financial health. Although the county does plan to allocate the additional revenue to meet contractual obligations during the months of May and June before the fiscal year end. The summary of revenue sources. The county has collected $53.8 million in taxes, representing 82.2% of total revenue. These taxes include real property tax, interest and penalty on real and personal property, public utility tax, motor vehicle tax, ad valorem tax, tag and title fees for personal property. Also included is our local option sales tax, alcohol tax, our business occupation tax, railroad equipment tax, and other taxes. The county has collected $4.2 million in charges for services, which accounts for 6.5% of the total revenue. This amount includes various fees for probate and magistrate courts, adult probation and supervision fees, inmate housing costs, medical and clothing reimbursements for both the Correctional Institute and the Sheriff's Department, as well as revenue from animal control, recreation fees, scrap iron sales, state tax collection fees, and recording fees. Intergovernmental revenues total $3.2 million, comprising 4.9% of total reported revenue. These revenues are from local and state and federal sources, including real estate transfer tax, our Georgia Highway Safety and COPS grants, our Performance Partnership Award, VOCA grants, and Accountability Court grants. And also included as of April 30th is a DOT reimbursement. For fines and forfeitures, the county has generated $1.6 million or 2.5% of the total revenue from superior, state, magistrate, and clerk of court fees. Also included is victim assistance and drug abuse court fines. Miscellaneous revenue is 1.5%, $5 million or 2.3%, including income from resource officers, CI and Sheriff Department inmate phone commissions, inmate store commissions, our CI detail reimbursements, motor coach trips, and sale of surplus property and equipment, and also included is our spay and neuter fees. For license and permits, which includes business, alcohol, building, sewer inspection, zoning, subdivision, marriage, and pistol license permits, account for $800,000 or 1.2% of revenue. Investment income accounts for $215,000 in revenue, for a total of 0.3% of the budget. For contributions and donations, we have accumulated $17,341. The summary of expenditures and encumbrances for employee salaries and benefits accounts for 56.2%, or $31.6 million of total expenditures. The expenditures for purchases and contractual services, which include radio and computer equipment and software, office equipment maintenance, travel expenses, legal fees, dues and subscriptions, education and training costs, also election expenses, telephone and postage service, and auto and truck maintenance, account for 26.2% of total expenditures, or $14.7 million. Supplies, which includes our office and departmental supplies, also utilities, uniforms, fuel, and small equipment, account for 7.6%, or $4.2 million of total expenditures. Capital outlay accounts for 6.2%, or $3.5 million, which includes supplies and materials for playgrounds, our walking trails, the master park plan, vehicle, park machinery, and other equipment. Other costs account for 2.5%, or $1.4 million. This includes various park repairs and supply reimbursements, for T-Splosh paving and sidewalk reimbursements, our Cigna flexible spending account, street lights, the Griffin Spalding Development Authority, the airport, forestry service, our public safety training center, the Griffin Spalding Archives, the health department, and also the library. Debt service, which includes enterprise vehicles, principal and interest, and other capital lease and principal and interest on our equipment and other vehicles, accounts for 1.2%, or $697,922. And lastly, I have the bank balances as of April 30th, 2025. The total balance is $68 million across all of our checking and investment accounts in Spalding County. This figure serves as an indicator that the county's economic activity, as well as its saving and investments levels during this reporting period. This finalizes my presentation, and I will be happy to answer any of your questions.
I've got one. How many days of contingency do we have?
If you will notice, I don't know if you can see that line or not, but it's our general fund investment fund account. That is our fund balance, and we have $18 million in that account. It's
87.
about 80.
It's 87 days.
87.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Any other questions for Ms. Dye?
How much did we spend with the 27 that we had to float when the tornadoes came?
23.
23. We've got 18 in there now.
No.
No.
We spent right at 10 million.
Okay.
We got 8 million back, 8 point some change back. The remainder of it was basically our deductible for the insurance.
Sure, I'm just making sure that if we have such a large scale disaster again, that we.
Yes, that we're done. We're ready.
Yeah.
I would like to ask Ms. Dye if she'll back up one slide. And I will call your attention to the general fund investment account for Truist for our fund balance. And if you'll notice, between March and April, there was an increase from $18,558,000 to $18,024,675. There's $5 million of that's inside of a ladder investment account.
Oh, okay.
And we're obtaining about $25,000 a month in interest to add toward that fund balance. I just want to highlight the fact that your finance team is working very diligently to find every available possible dollar to save for our taxpayers.
And that's a $5 million but that counts towards the 18.
Correct.
Yes, sir, it's
It's
combined.
inside that 18.
Yes.
Is there a way to run two of those? You know
Yes,
what I'm
there
saying?
is. We're already having those conversations, and we'll pull another 3 million out at the beginning of the year to do just that.
Because I know for the last few years we've been asking about alternative sources of income and how do we take the tax burden off of
That's correct.
the homeowners, and I think that's a good one. So
Yeah, we're making, right now, just in interest payments, we're making a little over $250,000 a year for our taxpayers.
That's correct.
solid.
Okay. All right, do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion, and I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hands. 4-0, motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Dyke, we appreciate it once again. Next, I would ask the board to consider a resolution for the District Attorney's Office of the Griffin Judicial authorizing and designating the District Attorney of the Griffin Judicial Circuit as the designee for the purpose of contracting with the state of Georgia in order to comply with the provisions of OCGA 15-18-20.
Want me to read that?
Yes.
Go ahead and read. A resolution of the Spalding County Commission, whereas the District Attorney's Office of the Griffin Judicial Circuit serves the 3 counties of Spalding, Pike, and Upson,
It's actually the 4
It's
counties,
4
Spalding,
counties.
Pike, Upson, and Fayette.
and Fayette. Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
like, wait a minute. And is jointly funded by appropriations from the state legislature, appropriations from the 4 counties, and federal grants. And whereas only approximately 1/3 of the district attorney's offices are funded by the state of Georgia, with all of the fringe benefits of state employees, including medical, dental, and life insurance options. And whereas it is desirable to offer the same benefit package to all employees of the district attorney's office, and whereas the 1997 session of the General Assembly passed OCGA 15-18-20, allows the counties to contract with the state in order to allow non-state paid district attorney employees to be processed through the state payroll system, thereby entitling those employees to the same fringe benefits as other state employees. And whereas this commission passed a similar resolution on July 18, 2005, allowing non-state paid employees of the district attorney to become members of the state employees retirement system, be it therefore resolved that the Spalding County Commission hereby authorizes and designates the District Attorney of the Griffin Judicial Circuit as its designee for the purposes of contracting with the state of Georgia in order to comply with the provisions of OCGA 15-18-20. The District Attorney shall be responsible for transferring to the state the required funds as are necessary to cover the compensation, benefits, travel, and other expenses for such personnel. So resolved this 19th day of May, 2025. Clay W. Davis, Chairman.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve with the amendment of
With
adding
the amendment
Fayette.
of the, as read, with the fourth county that's
Thank you,
that's
sir.
in there. It's
Okay.
part of our circuit.
I have a motion, I have a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Consider approval non-protunct of John Wesley Whitner Day Joint Proclamation. Would you please read?
Want me to read that one too? I'm going. I don't know. If you got it, go ahead.
Give me just a second. Let me see if I can find it. All right, joint proclamation by the City of Griffin and Spalding County Board of Commissioners, a proclamation for John Wesley Whitner Day, May 5, 2025. Whereas John Wesley Whitner, the son of the late Henry and Lisa Whitner, was born in Griffin, Spalding County, Georgia on February 26, 1947. And whereas John Wesley Whitner is a proud product of the Griffin Spalding County school system, having been a Moore Elementary School Bear Cub prior to graduating in 1965 as a fully grown Fairmont High School Mighty Bear. And whereas John Wesley Whitner, during his tenure at Fairmont High, was the president of the class of 1965, the president of the Future Teachers of America, FTA, the co-captain of the 1964-1965 football team, played on the basketball team, and was a member of the first Fairmont High baseball team. And whereas John Wesley Whitner, after leaving Fairmont, proudly served his country as a member of the United States Army, where he served 2 tours of combat duty in Vietnam between 1966 and 1969. And whereas John Wesley Whitner has continued to be a valuable asset to his community by serving as a deacon and trustee at Shoal Creek Baptist Church, vice commander of the local VFW, being a legendary disc jockey, stage name P-Funk, for 25 years, and most notably as being the long-standing and tireless president of Fairmont Alumni Association. And whereas John Wesley Whitner has been married to Prentice Willis Whitner for 48 years and has 4 children, Derek Lowe, Wayne Harps, Kativa Bankston, and Lorinda Jackson. Now therefore be it resolved with great enthusiasm that the Board of Commissioners of Spalding County and the Board of Commissioners of the City of Griffin do hereby proclaim May 18, 2025 as John Wesley Whitner Day in Spalding County and the City of Griffin, and encourage our fellow citizens to join in this celebration dated this 5th day of May 2025, signed by Clay Davis, Chairman, and Douglas Holberg, Mayor for the City of Griffin.
Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. I would like to ask now that Dr. Burks, our Citizen Engagement Specialist, come forward and make a presentation of the 2025 Spalding U graduation. Dr. Burks.
Well, good evening, everyone. Y'all supposed to say good evening. Well, thank you. But I'm so proud and I'm so happy tonight, Commissioners and County Manager, to present to you this inaugural class, the Spalding U. It's the first citizen engagement class that Spalding County has ever conducted. And I just want to say, over the past 10 weeks, participants in Spalding U have taken a deep dive into inner workings of county government, from public works to community development to budgeting, property taxes, human resources. This course has provided comprehensive overview of the systems that keep our county running. Students explored critical departments such as corrections, animal care control, fire services, EMA, 911, election, zoning, code enforcement, state court system, coroner's office, and gained a fuller understanding of how these entities work together in serving our citizens. And one of the things that I know that they thought they learned and asked questions about was what were mandated services and unmandated services. And I can truly say this class, for all of you all that presented to them, you just couldn't say anything to them. They asked questions, they did critical thinking, they conferred with one another, and I honestly think they came out understanding and knowing more and appreciating the value and the different things that we have going on in Spalding County. Am I speaking out of turn, class? No? Okay, cool. So if you all would please stand, and if you all would come up and just let people see. Now, I'm going to tell you how this is such a democratic and democracy. You will see they have on 2 different shirts. Now, I myself wanted them to wear Spalding U 2025. But see, there's one rebel in the class. No, I'm not, she's not a rebel. But when we went to each department, they presented us with not only knowledge and information, but they also gave them t-shirts. So if you all would come up and we can get a group photo. As you can see, we started out, there were 31 residents, citizens of Spalding County that signed up, and we graduated 29. And so I would encourage any of you, please, when the next time comes up for Spalding U, yeah, y'all can't spread out. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna jump in it, Larry. But I'm gonna tell you all, if you ever wanted to learn the inner workings of Spalding County, this class, please go through it. I'm not saying it just because it was something that I got an opportunity to help plan, but you really do gain a great knowledge of Spalding County. And so I'm gonna say, when I say Spalding, you say you. Spalding. Spalding. My babies, they good. But I'll come on and I'll take this. We can't see y'all back there.
Now, if you can't see Larry, then he can't see you. So move around and be able to do that.
Y'all come around there. They're gonna hang on to these husbands if y'all ain't. They can't move without.
All right, Larry, start moving people around if you have to.
I think we're good. I can get them. Hang on just a second. All right, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
Turn around. They want you all to see the back of your shirt. Thank you. I'm Spalding you, Mom.
Someone from the class like to say something? Come on.
Okay.
All right, my name is Regina Stevens, and I have been very blessed to have been through several Citizens Academies here for the city and the county, and I have thoroughly enjoyed them, especially since I am not a resident here, but I work in Spalding County. And this class was awesome. It's something we've been talking about for several years, and finally y'all listened, and we got it, and it was awesome. I mean, everyone, commissioners, you need to go through it too. You can learn something too.
I bet we could.
But it was awesome. I mean, every night was an adventure. I thought I was going to have to miss one night, and I was sick. Work at a flower shop. The Thursday night before Mother's Day is usually crazy. Luckily, I got out in time and got to go. And that was we went to the CI that night, and that was really good too. But anyway, just Dr. Burks was awesome. All the presenters were awesome. It was just awesome. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shahalini Bailey. On behalf of Spalding County, because I'm employed with Spalding County, we wanted to give Cheryl our appreciation for taking the time to, do this class. And we wanted to present her with that flower, that lovely flower she got in the card. So we do appreciate you. And we appreciate Spalding County for giving us the opportunity to even do all the classes. And we all enjoyed it. It was very educational. All right.
As an employee, what do you think?
As an employee, I learned a lot. I mean, I've been employed with Spalding County for going on 22 years, and some of the stuff that I learned, I did not know was here. So it was really helpful for me. And going forward, I want to experience more. So.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank y'all so much for putting up with me.
Next, I would ask Ms. Erica Dye to please come forward and make a presentation of the 2023 GFOA Fiscal Year 2023 Award for Spalding County. Ms. Dye.
I'm asking some of my members of my finance department to come join me. It is with great pride and appreciation that I stand before you this evening to recognize an outstanding achievement by the Spalding County Finance Department. Despite a year marked by significant challenges, all of which were beyond our control, This team demonstrated unwavering dedication, resilience, and excellence in financial stewardship. This evening, we celebrate the GFOA Award for Excellence in Financial Reporting for fiscal year 2023. This prestigious recognition from the Government Finance Officers Association is not just a testament to technical accuracy and transparency, but it also reflects the integrity, the hard work, and the commitment to public service that defines this department. Please join me in congratulating the Spalding County Finance Department on this well-deserved honor. This work continues to inspire confidence in our community and set a benchmark for excellence across the state. I'm missing 3 people, but these are 2 of my other ladies. But this FY23 was quite a challenge for us to complete the audit. Again, things that were out of our control, but we made it, and we are very proud of it. Thank you, ladies.
All right, Ms. Nye, if you'll pull your people up to the front.
Let's see. The Certified Public Manager CPM program at the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute of Government is a prestigious, internationally recognized leadership development course designed for public sector professionals seeking to enhance their management skills and effectiveness. Spanning 300 instructional hours over 26 days, the program combines classroom learning with practical assignments across 7 segments. Participants earn the Certified Public Manager's designation. Their curriculum emphasizes self-awareness, collaboration, and process improvement, aiming to build leadership capacity, foster innovation, and improve public service delivery throughout Georgia. Our very own county manager completed this course last Thursday, and tonight we'd like to recognize him for completing this course. Congratulations. Thank you, sir.
Some of you in the back may not have been able to see what he was wearing around his neck and may have thought, well, that's what this thing is about, so everybody has a great feel for it. All of us move? Well, just grip. Citizens' comments. Speakers must sign up prior to the meeting and provide their names, addresses, and the topics they wish to discuss. Speakers must direct your remarks to the board and not to individual commissioners or to the audience. Personal disagreements with individual commissioners or county employees are not a matter of public concern, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. The chairman has the right to limit your comments in the interest of disposing of the county's business in an efficient and respectful manner. Speakers will be allocated 3 minutes to speak on their chosen topics as they relate to matters pertaining to the jurisdiction of the Board of Commissioners. No questions will be asked by any of the commissioners during citizen comments. Outbursts from the audience will not be tolerated. Common courtesy and civility are expected at all times during the meeting. No speaker will be permitted to speak more than 3 minutes or more than once unless the board votes to suspend this rule. Dr. Ledbetter, do we have people who have signed up tonight?
Yes, sir, we do. Ms. Jewel Walker Harps.
She said she was not one.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Bruce Ledbetter.
I just wanted to thank Miss Jewel and the sergeant for what they're saying about life. I know y'all are real proud of your impact fees. But when you have a young couple that's in their early 20s trying to build their first home, 1,500 square feet, and between the impact fees and building permit, $7,900 out of your pocket to start with, that hurts. I know where these people are coming from. I paid $300 a month more on my mortgage for a solid year to cover its taxes. And I have a relative that's paying $300 a month for a year now because of taxes. It's true. There are real people out here in this county, and it hurts, and we ain't got it. And spending a lot of money on aquariums and just stuff that not everybody can use, like a dump with the compactors. That's everybody in the county. And coming up with the new bulk containers, that's going to help. Of course, I think that's because y'all found a lot of bulk container stuff in the compactors anyway. But that's just my opinion, and I don't know how many people agree with it, but Spalding County's hurting. And $1 billion water plant, sewer plant, and reservoir ain't what we need.
Thank you, Bruce.
Patsy Pledger.
I hope I do a better job of explaining myself than I did the first time. My apologies about that. It had to do with the study between what y'all was wanting to raise for with that county. Okay, I want to talk about the trash. I don't know if y'all realize what you're opening up this county for. People are going to be dumping everything you can think of, everywhere you can think of. And I do agree that the people that's I would like to ask the people that's on the east side of town, District 5, to please come out there and ride by all those streets out there. And I live 1 mile from Locust Grove Road, where they building probably 1,000 homes. And they're going to build all them off 155 too. But people got a house somewhere to take their trash. I'm not able to, my driveway's downhill. I'm not able to pull a big old thing up there, and I'm not able to pay another fee. I mean, I got all on me I can handle. I don't draw that much. I worked 30 and a half years, and I've never got to enjoy 1 penny of my pension. It all goes back to medical. I don't know who chose which trash dumps should be closed, but we have nothing on the east side of town. Nothing. I mean, we're the only side of town that does not have a park. I tried for years to get one, but I did not succeed. Somebody told me I'd have to donate land to get one. Okay, but, you know, if you look around in front of the Dollar General store at the four-way stop sign where people are backed up, they backed up in every direction. They throwing out their trash. They so trashy. and it's trashy where I live. I've been living out there 53 years. There was a lot of nice people there, but then there's a lot of people coming in there that don't care. I would like to ask, if you're gonna hire a code enforcement person, then he needs to earn his money. And I would like for the people at District 5 and that live on that side of town to please come out and ride on Whistle Road, Deerwood Circle, but especially Holly Lane. I mean, it is awful to live there around some of the garbage that is out there, and it needs to be cleaned up. Because, I mean, you know, it's going to be worse than that. When you close all these, I wish you'd have put it on another splash. I'd have been in. 100%. We need it on another splash. We would agree to it. You could have took away another day. Or you could have started charging for the trash. Whatever, we need that. We need it desperately. We don't want to see it closed. That's all we got on that side of town. It really
Thank you, ma'am.
Is it going to matter at all? I know I can't ask questions. I wished I could. I'd like to know who chose to put it, to close all of them but those two special ones.
Thank you.
Far. They're too far for me to take my trash.
Fred Nelson.
You know, we do the Pledge of Allegiance. You know,
Mr.
before
Nelson,
these
if you would,
meetings.
Mr. Nelson, if you would please state your name and address for the record, please.
Okay, put it on the sheet, but I'll do it again. I get it. You got the formalities. Oh, all right. Am I gonna get my time back?
Yes.
Fred Nelson, 2260 Locust Grove Road. I get it, you know, like we stand up here, we did the Pledge of Allegiance and, you know, for liberty and justice for all. So I don't see where the whole like justice for all piece right there, you know, by shutting down these trash points, you know, there's a lot of folks that, you know, they work 24/7, they got long driveways. These trash points do a lot for the community. My stretch of property, I see trash out there. Every other day I'm picking up at least a Walmart bag full of trash in front of my property. And when I'm out there and I see these garbage trucks flying up and down that road right there and all the trash flies out of them and they land out there on the property, there's people just tossing their trash anyways out there in my property. I've had to clean up 2 truck beds full of trash at the front of my property. So seeing that the trash sites are going to be shut down for like budget, that's why I was like, look, I will come up here. I just found out about the Spalding U thing. I would love to learn more about the financials and just ways to get the funds that we need to do what we have to do, but not taxing the citizens out of their homes or taxing them, you know, just because we get like a COLA increase or something, it doesn't mean it's like, okay, like the largest asset you have, we're going to tax you at that same increase. My house, I bought it and it's increased like $70,000 in like the almost 3 years I've been here. And I've been there to the assessor's office to talk to them. They're like, well, I'm like, well, what's this? And well, that's the millage rate. You got to go talk to the commissioners about that. My millage rate has not been the same the whole time on my property, tax statements and all that stuff. It actually went up like 25%. So when I see the $19 increase or whatever, I'm just like, I don't know what math or like what's going on, but that's what's prompting me. I will volunteer my time. I'll come up here. I will stay after. If you have suggestions, I would love to be more involved with Spalding County. I don't have like a financial degree or anything, but I do have time and I have a heart that's big enough to want to step in and do something to try to help our county. So please take my offer into consideration. And I would love to work with you at some point. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Nelson.
Tyler Beard.
Tyler Beard, 525 South 6th Street, Griffin, Georgia. So just a couple of the comments, and I know I can't ask the right questions, but I don't have a finance degree either. But on the aquatic center, I understand it was a hot button topic, and this is a expenditure budget with revenue. So I found it interesting that the line item had revenue offsetting the cost of it. And I don't know if that's normal, but I was trying to look back at some of the minutes on the other meetings, but it's just one thing found interesting. The other thing I just wanted to say was I moved to Spalding County 10 years ago with my family. I bought 3 homes, not 3 homes together, like I moved in the county. So I bought 3 homes here. I do want, I intend on making this the county that I live in. I have opportunities to go other places, but I choose to stay here. I like it here. I do think we're, as a county, caught between a rock and a hard place. I think there is a reality that we would like to stay a rural county. We are just outside the Atlanta metro area. I understand that we want to maintain that. We don't want to have a lot of development if possible. However, I'm a realist. And Commissioner Dutton mentioned one time at a meeting, I wish that you didn't have to do property tax. You could choose to live on a farm by yourself and not have to pay taxes. That's your choice. It's not the world we live in. And we do have to consider voting in favor of development to offset the cost of taxes. Otherwise, we have a hard time arguing the taxes that we pay as residents. That being said, I understand we can go over each line item on the budget, but at the top, there was an increase to the executive branch of this county at $177,000 a year. Now, I talked about the pay increase. We could get into that, but the thing that worried me is on the second page is that there's a negative $50,000 in the Griffin Spalding County Development Authority, which is, I think, is I understand you got to move money around, but I think we need to move money towards development of the county. To do it in a sustainable way where it doesn't affect the residents as much as possible. I think that the corridor along Georgia Highway 16, I worked at the distribution center right there across the line of Butts County for Dollar General, and that's exactly the thing. You cross right into Butts County right there, and it's there, not here. So I think there's good opportunity there, but I do look at the commissioners, but also the folks that live in the county that there is there will have to come from somewhere if we do want to have our basic services. But $177,000 to the executive, and outside of the trash centers or the development authority doesn't seem like the right decision. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Beard.
Amos Surratt.
Amos Surratt, 336 Bar H Road. The first thing I would like to address is the commissioner's pay raise they're talking about doing, about 90% raise for people that don't work 40 hours a week at a job. I think you ought to give that all to the patrol department of Spalding County and give it to the cops. They need it more than you do. They're the ones putting their life on the line for this county. Y'all not. Y'all want to give them a 2.5% raise? That's not right. As far as the collection centers go, Georgia 3 is going to be backed up everywhere if you close 3 of them centers. That's a state road, so you're going to have to get state people involved in the putting in turn lanes and whatever just to get the people in and out. And I think if any of you commissioners know where the bleachery's at, the old bleachery building, y'all go take a ride over and see what your road's gonna look like. See what that building looks like and what's left of that building, and look around that building. I happened to ride by there the other day, and there's more trash it'd take you 100 trucks to get over and get the trash up. Furniture, tires, all kinds of stuff over, and that's what this county's gonna look like if you close them collection centers. Plus, if you do close them, people get services. What do you think them trucks gonna do to your county roads? A trash truck's not light. Empty, it's probably 20,000 pounds. And that going up and down that road every day is gonna look like Jackson Road over there in 2 years. Every road in the county will be that way. So you need to be careful what you wish for.
Thank you, Mr. Surratt.
Brett and Jacqueline Smith.
Yep,
All right,
okay,
thank you, sir. Mr. Chair, that's all who've signed up this evening.
okay, thank you. Thank you all that came forward to speak. I will say again, it's important that we hear what you have to say. So please continue to do that. Minutes. Consider approval of the minutes from the Spalding County Board of Commissioners May 5th workshop and May 5th regular session. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0, motion carries. Old business. Do I have a motion to adopt the second reading of the fiscal year 2026 budget?
So moved for the purpose of discussion.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
I have a motion and a second. Discussion?
I'll go ahead. There's a few things that I'm kind of confused about. I know we always talk about consensuses and stuff, and the budget meetings. There was one. There was 3 of us in there, and I'm gonna start off with the CI. I'm totally against the reduction in the CI. I know we had 8 open positions, so I don't like we're gonna lose that many employees, but that's livelihoods. That's displacing some people. That's displacing the ways of the county. I just, when I left during our budget meeting, we were reducing it from 225 to like 200. And then when everybody comes back from the Savannah trip, which I didn't get to go, my fault, but now it's reduced to 100. I just don't know where that happened. I didn't know about it until the last meeting when I heard that the warden's retiring. There's people being helped to get them ready to move into other jobs, other positions. I just felt that one was kind of one-sided, and I just didn't feel the consensus was there for that many. The third thing, or the second thing I'm gonna talk about is we talked about security at the recreation departments. And now I've caught wind that there's an RFP out for private security. I am totally against bringing in a private firm to offer security at our recreation department for ball games and stuff. And being a former deputy, that was probably one of the most dangerous things I did. I mean, because people get and it was T-ball. T-ball was the worst of all of them.
Good Lord, yes.
I mean, I had a preacher try to choke me out at a T-ball game one time. So, I mean, it gets dangerous. I understand there's a lot of deputies don't want to work it, and I think what has led to that is like working the private parties at the pavilion rentals and stuff like that. If we're going to require a deputy there, when they rent that pavilion, we need to get money up front, because a deputy shouldn't have to run around and chase people all night long trying to get paid. He's already taken time out of his life, his familyhood, just to try to make ends meet and get a little extra money, and he's having to hunt these people down. We should have that money already set aside for him. And the most important thing is the community outreach of it. I mean, like when I worked at Tice Park, you create a relationship with these kids. They'll come up and talk to you. You learn things about them. This one little young lady I got real close with at one of them. She ended up getting killed in a car wreck, and that was like losing a kid. I mean, it was awful. I mean, it was devastating. So that's how close of a relationship you get with these people. You take like Fairmont or Ambucks Park. I don't know. I forgot what. You know what deputy works at? It's the female deputy. Well, she works it, and McCrae. That's her name. They love her. I mean, if we lose McCrae, we're stepping back in time. So I am totally against outsourcing this, and not to mention the liabilities. You take some gung ho security guard. He's gonna start putting his hands on people, try to detain people. And it's not only going to go against the security department, their company, it's going to come back on us. So it's just a bad idea. The garbage centers, the worst thing that ever happened with the garbage centers was opening in the first place. But you can't close them now. You just can't do it. I mean, it's a way of life. When I turned 16, I got my butt tore up if I didn't take the garbage over at Blaylock. I mean, it was just a thing. I I know there's some important stuff and this budget's gonna have to be pushed through, but that's something we're gonna have to sit down and discuss. I mean, just two spots is just not gonna cut it for me. So this is not over on that one. Oh, pay raises. I would never like openly vote on a pay raise for myself. That's just wrong and immoral to me. The only reason I would support a pay raise is to try to get somebody else to take his damn job. Because the only reason Ryan Bolden is sitting up here is because I had some crazy liberal running against me, and nobody else would run against him. It was awful, and that's the reason I'm up here, because I am so busy. I mean, so busy. It's hard to make meetings. It's hard to really represent y'all the way I do, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it for the next 3 years. I may make you mad some days. I may make you happy others, but I'm old school. I'm trying my damnedest to get the taxes lowered, and that's what I'm doing. I mean, I may make 10,000 people happy and the other 62,000 mad at me, but that's what it is. We got to get industry here. Until we get some industry here, we're just floating in limbo. That's all I got.
Okay.
Okay, with the CI, I would want to know how we came to that number too. How we went from 200 to 100. I'd like to know that.
Wasn't it based off of stopping the outsourcing?
Yeah, it was.
Okay. And another thing, how much money are we losing with the trash center? Like having all of them open?
All of them?
Yeah, how much does it cost?
This year it's 1.3 million with just keeping 2 open. So we need 2 trucks. The trucks are $500,000 each. So you're talking roughly, if you do the math and do the leasing, you're talking $1.5 million.
More to keep all 5, so 2.8 million.
Thereabout.
To keep them all up. That's how much it was every year before now, right? I mean,
It was. Yeah, this is a cash flow issue because of the second state court coming online.
Okay.
And the opportunity for us to manage against the cash flow will require a reduction in a few of our departments instead of closing one full department.
But not just the state court too, because we're raising the sheriff's budget by $1.7 million.
That's
for
correct.
more deputies, for more.
That is correct.
And not in a bad way. I'm just
no,
saying.
it's a good thing because we desperately need the cash flow in order to satisfy the revenue requirements. In the possibility of us continuing with the development of our community and bringing those departments back online are the discussion that this board needs to have. But in the short term, this is just a cash flow challenge that we have over the next year.
Anything else? Vice Chair?
Oh boy, absolutely. I mean, I want to say, well, I do it every year, but certainly this year I started in January going, please, 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 come out and look at our budget. Please, please, please be here. Don't make it just us who looks at this budget. In fact, there was a group that wanted to start a Spalding County Spalding County Doge, and I said, absolutely. What can we do to facilitate that? And they said, well, you should pick people. I said, then it's not us. It needs to be something that the county comes up with, so that nobody can say that we're the ones controlling our own. Like anything we can do to support that. At our meetings, I want to say maybe there were 3 citizens, including Miss Judy, who would come. I think Peter Phelps, the head of our GOP, was here. Thank you so much, Peter, for showing up. And on a couple other days, that'd be, maybe one other person. And even then, I put it on the record, hey, this is disappointing. I mean, look at these things. This isn't 2 copies. This is one budget. And I, again, repeatedly going, hey, if you've got good ideas, we want to see them. If you've got something better than the 5 of us, please bring it to us. Don't come when our back's against the wall and the state of Georgia says you have to do something on this date or else, and then go, wait a minute, you got to retool all this. You got to look at it. I mean, I don't know how much more transparent we can be than having our own forensic audit done, in addition to our normal audits, in addition to winning the, correct auditing procedures and financial stuff from the state. And yet at the same time, how open can we be? We're begging people, please come in and help us with the budget. Please come in and do this. Oh, I'll take time off. Okay, where were you? Okay, where were you? I'm sorry that I'm raking you over the coals here, but like, okay, where were you? Okay. Well, this is a part-time job for you. You're right. This is a part-time job for me. You're right. You're right. And I don't have a PhD in this. I do have a doctorate, but he's got a PhD in it and a master's in it, and he's done a fantastic job with it. Boy, we want our taxes to be lower. Okay, we're going to make cuts and cuts and cuts and cuts so that we can get it as low as we possibly can. Well, how dare you make these cuts? Well, wait a minute. Do we want lower taxes? Yeah. Well, universally, everyone says lower our taxes. Please, please, please. We're on fixed incomes. Yep. We're there with you. Whoa, but not those cuts. But I like those things. Oh, cut something else that I don't use. Okay. Let's talk about this idea of pay raises. Again, I think it's ridiculous that elected officials would have to vote on their own pay. I think that's a stupid system. In fact, I think it's so stupid that I personally delivered to the state legislature this year a piece of local legislation that would have permanently taken it out of our hands. Okay? The way that DeKalb County even came up in this discussion is DeKalb County floated essentially the same bill. Okay? And so we went, ooh, that's a great idea. We're going to steal this idea that a metro county had so that the state takes it out of our hands, pegs it to a number, and then we can never touch it again. That's how this should work. That's how it's weird when the sheriff and the judges have to come to us and ask us for a pay raise. That should not be our decision. That's weird. That should be a state decision. I put that up with them. And not only was DeKalb County's voted down, ours was voted down. In fact, I don't even think ours got a vote. So that brings us back to here. The Spalding County Board of Commissioners worked over the last 3 years to do a gigantic multi-million-dollar pay study for every single position in Spalding County. Okay? And last year, we implemented the first phase of that, which was for every employee except the 5 of us. Okay? And that was a huge raise for our employees because we were losing so many employees because we simply weren't paying them enough. We were thousands, tens of thousands below even our neighbors. And so we were losing, I think we lost 22 firemen in 1 year because we just didn't pay what you could drive 20 more minutes down the road to get. And that's not fair. But what should that number be? Well, again, let's get the best science. Let's look into it. We got those numbers. We implemented that pay raise. We did the same thing with us. But there's this idea of these COLA raises and this. Well, you know, I think our chairman makes, for being the chairman, I think you get $1,000 more a year for like the extra 15 or so hours you work every single week. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know if, certainly in the past they've said, hey James, don't you want to take a turn? No, not for the extra time. No, thank you. I've got little kids and a job. And the last time that the Board of Commissioners actually got a pay raise was the year I graduated from high school in 2000. Who would keep doing a job if you haven't got a pay raise in 25 years? Who would do that? Again, why hadn't that happened? Why isn't there a normal pay raise system? Because it's never a good time. And it's never a good time. Oh, not this year. Oh, it's never a good time. And I get it. It shouldn't be us that votes on this. That's why I gave it to the state and said, please, please, please take this out of our hands. This should not be something that we have to vote on. Okay? But hopefully maybe they'll pass it next year. But here we are. I want to talk about somebody brought up impact fees. I've lived in Spalding County, except when I was in college. I've lived in Spalding County effectively my entire life. My parents, raised me here. My dad's from here. My mom's from Pike County. So she's not quite a foreigner, but they've paid in to our taxes, to our SPLOST, to every time that there's a tax. That money goes to build the parks, that money goes to build the amenities, that money goes to build the senior center. When someone moves in, they get to immediately take advantage of all those amenities. That's what an impact fee is for. To catch them up so that they have bought in to all the amenities that we offer, which is what impact fees are specifically for. Impact fees they can't go into our general budget. They go into a specific pool of impact fee money that can only be spent to increase the actual amenities that we produce. So let's say there's 100 people in a county and there's a park. That means there's so much park space per person. Well, if more people move in, that's taking away park space for those people. So this is what the impact fee is for. Those people who moved in pay a fee, and then we expand parks, we expand recreation opportunities so that it doesn't take away from the people who are currently here. And as much as I would love for people to move here, my job is to worry about the citizens who live here right now. So I'm sorry if you think our impact fees are high. I'm sorry if that costs you more money to move here. But my job is to deal with the citizens of Spalding County, not the potential future citizens of Spalding County. Let's talk about how much tax revenue we're going to get from the thing that I voted against on 155. They're going to build however many houses over however many years. Georgia Tech, all right, some of the smartest folks in the country, and I say that as a Georgia State grad, so I'm not biased. They did a study that showed for every dollar in residential tax that we get, that we have to spend $1.16 providing services to them. So to say, oh, we're going to get extra money for these people moving in, it's not true. The opposite is true. For every dollar that we get from somebody moving here, we have to spend more than what they're going to give us in taxes. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no incentive to bring in residents to Spalding County as far as the budget goes, okay? What there is a huge impact is commercial and industrial. Well, how do we get industrial and commercial? All right. In the 1970s, the state paid for an industrial and employment corridor here in Spalding County. Wonderful 4-lane road with a median and access roads. It goes all the way from the downtown Griffin all the way to the border with Butts County. All total on both sides of that road, from the lakes of Green Valley, where that starts, all the way to the Butts County line. How much money do we get in taxes per year for our industrial and commercial corridor? Less than $100,000 in total taxes. Why? Because there's no water and sewage, and all those landowners have put it into a conservation easement. We have to change that. We have to change that. 94% of our tax revenue comes from residents, not industry, not commercial. Why is that such a huge imbalance? Why is our tax rate so much higher than Peachtree City, than Fayetteville? Peachtree City alone has a larger tax base than all of Spalding County. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm just talking about their industrial base. Yeah, they got big, nice houses. Just their industrial base is higher than our entire tax base. You understand what I'm saying? So of course they pay a lower percentage in taxes because they can put it on their industrial base. We have to do the same. And yet you see how full this room is tonight? The room is double this full when somebody wants to come in and build in that line, on that track. Not in my backyard, how dare you? And it's the same thing we hear tonight. Wait a minute, I want my taxes to be lowered. This millage rate's too high. I agree. We got to make cuts. Well, don't cut that. Here we are. Here we are. We have a plan over the next 5 to 10 years that hopefully will mean a drastic reduction in the taxes paid by homeowners. And I mean drastic reduction. I wish I could tell you what happens in some of these things, but we don't want to scare it away, so I can't really get into the details of it. But every single year, other than 2020, that I've been elected, we have reduced our millage rate. This year, we have the biggest planned reduction that we've ever had. So much so that our actual total revenue, okay, you're going to actually, for the average house, as Dr. Ledbetter explained tonight, going to see an actual reduction. Now, of course, we're helped by the state this year because in the past, the state has come in and sent us literal demand letters that the tax assessor raise the average tax assessment by at least 15%. I can show you the physical letters that they send us. Why is the county raising it? We do not want to. The state comes in and says, we will fine you into the dirt unless you do this. And then this year, they pass, 581 and say, I can't believe that counties are raising everyone's values. You're making us do it. I'm getting off a tangent. I want to talk about some of the specifics. The CI, the total budget for the CI is $9 million.
It's 8.2.
8.2.
And they pulled it down to 7.55.
And how much do we get from the state to run that prison? CI is Correctional Institute. That's our prison out next to the jail.
Roughly $2 million.
$2 million. So Spalding County's taxpayers spend at least $5 million a year to run a state prison here in Spalding County.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now those prisoners get to work as firefighters, and they do a fantastic job as firefighters.
Yes, sir.
And they get to go out and pick up trash and change the trash cans and mop the bathrooms in the courthouse, that kind of stuff. But they couldn't do that during COVID. And yet, those things still got done. We have one of the best CIs in the state. It wins just tons of awards every year. It gets the most GEDs. It's one of the lowest recidivism rates. It is a fantastic. And our warden is just great. The inmate firefighters are some of the most heroic people. They go to every single house fire while they're in prison. And they're in the fires, in the gear. It is on its face unfair for the Spalding County citizens to subsidize a state prison to the tune of $5 million a year. That the math just doesn't math there. It doesn't matter how great of an institution. I'm not making a personal judgment on the personnel or the warden or even the gentlemen that are residing there against their will. $5 million a year is a ton of money for the residents of Spalding County. Fulton County, $5 million is a rounding error. For us, that's more than 10% of the budget. I mean, it's huge. It's a huge number. It's the same. We're looking at different ways to cut hundreds of thousands, to cut 10,000s, to cut 1,000, to cut 500, everywhere we can. And you've got a 500-pound gorilla. We're looking at another cut, and I'm glad that Commissioner Bolden brought it up. This RFP for private security. I am all for RFPing and looking to do as much private as we can. We're saving money at the city park with grass cutting. I think we should RFP everywhere else we grass cut and see if it saves us money. That said, as a former sports official who's been out there and has relied on these deputies, okay, has seen bat fights between coaches and parents, unless the savings there is substantial, like 6 figures substantial, I can't imagine privatizing that. I can't imagine that our deputies aren't going to do so much better of a job than what a private. Again, if it's, I get that we're trying to save every dime here, but if it's, less than six figures, I can't imagine putting a private security guard there, or rent-a-cop, as opposed to having one of our deputies. So I'm looking forward to seeing the RFPs, but we're still gonna have to approve those things. And I just want everybody to understand where I'm at with that. I want finally to talk about the improvements that we're hoping to make to our trash collection. Everyone keeps saying we're cutting. The idea here is not just to save money by making cuts, but how do we get these centers open a total number of hours more so that there's more availability for citizens to take their trash somewhere. Right now, there is no bulky days unless like they randomly pop up. And the idea now, even though we haven't quite worked out the schedule, is for at least once a month to have a bulky day, which would be fantastic. Most of the dumping is bulky stuff. I don't think that people who litter are necessarily littering because they can't get to a trash collection. I just think they're terrible people and need to be dragged on the street and shot because they're litterers. That's just such a barbaric thing to do. That's like up there with killing puppies. Like, what are you doing? We live in a society. But I think the bulk dumping, I think, is something that will greatly be curtailed by this, with the bulk days. That said, it's my understanding that around 70% of all the trash collections currently happens at two of the centers. And so having those open, not just in their current capacity, but for 5 total days, closing them only on Sunday and Wednesday, is the current iteration of the plan, which increases the total number of days those sites are open. What I would ask you tonight, Dr. Ledbetter, I think that we have to approve this budget now that our back's against the wall, because the state, in their infinite wisdom, have passed a law that forces us to do this much sooner than we were otherwise liked and that we had planned to do. But I would like it if you would go back and see if there's a way to open the other 3 trash collection centers on Wednesday so that every day but Sunday there'll be somewhere to take your trash. And whereas it might be less convenient because they're only open 1 day a week, there'll still be a way to get the trash to Blaylock and all the other more rural centers. I know that that's going to cost us $200,000 at best. I mean, the absolute cheapest. But I still think that there might be a way to do that. It bothers me when the past SPLOST have just been so poorly thought out. when a SPLOST, just so that everybody knows, and I've harped on this a few times, when a SPLOST vote passes, the government's hands tied. We now have to build those things. Boy, the aquatic center went over budget. Once it passed the referendum, it had to be built. It was budgeted for $4 million. It cost us $10 million. It was a referendum that passed. We don't get to turn it down at that point. Once the voters approve it, it's out of our hands completely. Now, we have committed that any future SPLOST is going to be needs only. We have a bunch of needs in this county, and as much as I love pickleball and as much as I love taking my kids to the aquatic center, neither of these things are needs. No one's dying if we don't play pickleball. Nobody's dying if we don't, learn to swim. Well, maybe then, but I things like roads, things like sewage availability in our industrial corridor, and frankly, directly lowering taxes for homeowners. Like these are needs. These are needs, and we've committed, just to give everybody here a chance, since so many of y'all are here, that those 3 things are the only 3 things that are going to be on the next SPLOST from the county. Period. So, a lot of people came in and said, but what about, here's the 3 things that are going to be out. We got needs. We have needs. Go and see our jail. Okay? We have a fantastic sheriff who's doing his absolute level best to do what he can with our absolutely collapsing around him jail. Okay? We need a new jail. All right? Our total budget this year, our grand total is over $75 million budget. For a new jail, we have been quoted at $150 million. A SPLOST collects 60. We need almost 3 full SPLOST. 18 years. We have needs in this county that aren't being met. We got potholes all over the place. And let me tell you, how much was the paving project for that half-mile paving project that we're, wasn't it like $3.5 million or something for the half mile?
Yeah, just for Jackson Road alone, it's $3.2 million just to repave Jackson Road.
I'm in the wrong business. I went to college to be a lawyer all these years. I should have got into the paving business. Holy cow. Okay? Like, why isn't this road paved and why isn't that road paved? Because it's millions per mile, and we just don't have the budget. So that's what T-SPLOST are for, all right? But you can't have a T-SPLOST if you don't have a SPLOST. So 44% of the county's SPLOST is going to just go into T-SPLOST stuff to fix potholes and resurface roads. These are needs. These are the things the county has to do. I'm looking at this budget, and again, every year it's this balancing act of how do I lower the millage rate and continue to lower the millage rate and continue to lower the millage rate and yet still provide the level of service that we need. Why do we need 5 more deputies this year? Because that's how many more people moved into Spalding County, and we have to cover more neighborhoods and more people. Why do we need more jailers? Because those deputies are doing their jobs and arresting bad folks. You know what I mean? Like, what we also need, and this is, coming in future years, so wrap your heads around it. We need more animal control. We need more code enforcement. All right. And, frankly, we've even floated the ideas, and this is not something that a defense attorney puts forward often, but raising the fine money on all that kind of stuff. All right. And I'm the guy who goes in and begs for lower fines for my clients. But as an official, we should raise those. But we're not allowed. The state has to do it. And we've asked them, and they go, oh, that's neat, and then move on. So I love that we're thinking out of the box. I love that we're, instead of just having it in an account, that we're actually investing that money in a sort of a looping way so that it's still there as required, but we're generating interest payments on that. I think that, could this budget be better? Yep. Is this budget going to make people upset? Yep. And we could move it 8 million different ways, and it's still going to make a bunch of folks upset. You're not cutting this. You're not. You're cutting too much here. Yep. There is no way to make everyone happy. That said, we have gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. We've made every possible cut and stretched every possible service that we can. I think this is a fantastic budget. I think that it accomplishes the long-term goals. That said, I still, just because we're passing this budget, doesn't mean that we're not going to amend it like we do every year when we go, oh crap, what about this? And oh no, here's this emergency. And you've already sort of got the marching orders tonight for, can we do more? So, in my opinion, I think we should pass this budget. But hear me say again, everyone who's watching online, everyone who's here tonight, we do a budget every year. We have huge budget meetings every year. I don't want you to come and yell at me at this meeting. I want you helping us make our budget. I want you at those meetings. You're welcome to. We have a whole staff that will go through this with you. Take advantage of that, please. If you've got a great idea, we want to use it. If someone wants to come in and help volunteer, good Lord, please, absolutely. All right, more sets of eyes on it, the better. Now, do I think we have some of the best eyes that in the world to looking at it? Yeah, but boy, more eyes the better. Anything we can do to help with the Spalding County Doge, we're in. Absolutely, We want the public to get involved. We want the public here engaged. Absolutely. So please don't let us down again next year. Please come and actually help us make this budget. Please, please, please. I'm not just saying that. It's not just some political smoke. No, seriously. We meet in this room. It's published. Come and be here. All right, I've ranted enough. I'm sorry. I get excited.
Okay.
I know I shouldn't.
Before I speak, anybody else got anything? Okay. I want to, Commissioner Flowers Taylor was supposed to be here. She's in a flight coming back into the United States. It was delayed. There's nothing she could do about it. She's upset that she wasn't here to be able to vote with us. We make a conscious decision. We could have tabled this budget, but with the guidance state has given us, we couldn't afford to do that. So that's that. I want to make it crystal clear to the constituents that I cannot in good conscience and as a good steward of the citizens' money that I'm a steward for, vote for this budget. I think the budget, so you know, is very good, but I can't do it if there's a bill, if I'm paying my own pay raise. It is that deeply ingrained in me. So you're going to see me vote against the budget tonight only because of the pay raise. Okay. Any other comments? All right.
Which is, again, why the state should take this out of our hands, as I asked them to do. But
All those in favor of, no, do I have a,
we've already got a motion.
Get a motion in a second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor of passing the budget, please raise your hand. 3, all those opposed? 1, budget passes on a 3-to-1 vote. New business. Consider resolution for the fiscal year 2026 rollback rate in compliance with the 2024 Georgia House Bill 581 and the 2025 House Bill 92 requirements. Do I have a motion to certify the second reading of the fiscal rollback rate in compliance with the 2024 House Bill 581 and 2025 House Bill 92?
Mr. Chairman, what's the rate that we're paying this year? What was it? What was it last year, and what was it this year?
If you will go back to
15.55, didn't I?
15.
If you will go
15.5
back to
558.
mine, it was 15.55,
Last year.
and
This
the
year.
estimated rollback for this year is 15.45.
4 or 5, so a tenth of a mil. Okay.
Okay, and we have to send that out. You heard Steve talk about it has to get into the notice of assessment, NOA, to be able to do that. All right. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve, but I got some discussion.
Yes. Do I have a second?
And that's the 15.45.
It's 15.45. Okay. Any more discussion?
We, not to give you too many marching orders again tonight, Dr. Ledbetter, but we discussed before the meeting a way. The intention is, if the intention is to shift the property taxes more onto industrial and commercial, not only do we need more industrial and commercial, but lowering a millage rate lowers the taxes on them as well. Can we explore doing this sort of cut as a county homestead exemption and raising that every year so that the full cut is on the homeowners and not sort of across the board in these industries and stuff? Because if the intent is to shift it more towards them, then the cut should be here and not there.
I will work with the county attorney to make exploration of that request. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? All right, all those in favor, please raise your hand. 4-0. That part counts, passes, excuse me. Next is also consider the resolution for pay increase for Board of Commissioners. Do I have a motion to adopt through the second reading of the fiscal year 2026 resolution for pay increase for Board of Commissioners?
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
This should be a state thing, but they're not doing it, so.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 3. All those opposed? 1. Motion carries. Next, the staff is asking the Board of Commissioners to consider the appointment of Ms. Tanya Philpott for the role of Deputy County Clerk. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
We're excited to have you.
Yes. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Motion carries.
Welcome aboard.
Good luck, good luck.
Yes. It is time for our lease renewal for the 5029 Department of Public Safety, our Georgia State Patrol facility. The staff and our county attorney have reviewed the lease and found it to be acceptable to form without any changes in terms. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
We just appreciate them being here and how professional they are.
Absolutely.
Here, here.
All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Item number 4. The staff conducted an RFP for the comprehensive IT services that included a formal bid interview with firms and carefully reviewed by a committee consisting of Mr. Mike Wyndham, Ms. Erica Dye, the Sheriff Dix, and Dr. Ledbetter. I believe Mr. Wyndham is here this evening to discuss the findings with us.
Yes, sir.
Good evening,
Thank you.
Mike. Welcome.
We put out our RFP for our managed outsourced IT services, as well as a migration of our servers to the cloud as a project. And we had 2 bidders return packages for us, and we reviewed those at length and in detail. The 2 bidders were an Atlanta company named InterDev and a local company named Liberty. And they both offered very similar products, services, and support levels. They were extremely similar in their comparison there, but they were very far apart in their costs. So, without too deep of a reflection, I do believe the staff wants to recommend we go with the lower priced version, which the bidder was Liberty.
All right.
Motion to accept Liberty.
Yeah. In case you can't see that, the difference is 3 million versus 1.6 million between the two. All right. Do I have a motion to?
You got one from me.
I have a motion and a second. Any more discussion?
I'll say, we've used Liberty for years in my business here, and they're more expensive than the competition, but like the level of service they give is incredible, and so this much lower than somebody out of Atlanta or something. Like, I'm frankly shocked that they're the low bidder for how much that they do and how hard they work and how hard they worked every time I've seen them. So I'm excited for this.
Well, it's
How
not,
much was it in the past?
it was comparable to what the charge is here. This is much better for our community because what we have gleaned from this is an opportunity to instill through contract level of service. So how fast they respond to service and what that service level looks like. So we have codified what the requirements are. Kudos to the sheriff. He's not here in the room, but kudos to the sheriff because he was very instrumental in making sure that he was talking during the interview process with both vendors about the level of service and what his expectations were, because his guys work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if they have a outage of software, then it could postpone someone getting out of jail in a timely manner, and we can't afford that. So kudos to the sheriff for being a part of this process.
Right. Do we have a motion?
You do. You've got a motion and a second.
The sheriff went with someone else for like their cameras and stuff on the inside. Is this going to include that now, or?
That was not in the scope of the RFP.
I didn't figure, but I didn't know what
And
they had
quite
rolled into.
frankly, the county has moved outside of that contract as well for the camera services that we provide. Mike has done just one tremendous job at utilizing a firm called Ubiquity for the camera system, and it is an amazing product. So kudos to our IT and radio team for taking care of us in that way.
We just switched to them for our phones in my office.
Mhm.
Yeah, great. Good stuff.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. 4-0. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mike. Item number 9, report of the county manager.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You assigned me a task to work with the committee to update the master plan for jail and courthouse and suggested a 5-year plan rather than something immediate. I'm working to build a project team to expand the current team that has been working this process for the last few years. And the expansion will include members of ACCG Finance in support of bringing those individuals on so we can understand what sources of opportunity we have to finance this requirement.
Great idea.
Year 4, T-Splosh continues to move forward. Jackson Road repaving will begin the week, I'll reemphasize that, the week of May 26th. So realizing that May 26th, Monday, is a holiday, we're not 100% sure that they're going to show up on Monday, but we are sure that they're going to show up next week. And as a reminder, the repaving for this road will require sections of the road to be closed and diverted as work progresses. So please help us get the information out to our community, because it's going to be a little bit of a challenge for people who are very accustomed to using Jackson Road, because sections of this road are going to be closed. We're not just resurfacing, we are completely repaving. So the team that's going to come in is going to do full depth reclamation. So we're going to dig down to the clay and rebuild that road from scratch. So it's quite a process. To ensure the county meets the end of year deadline for state funds to re-roof the library, staff has issued an RFP, and we will bring our recommendations to you during the first meeting in June for that. We are spanning across 2 fiscal years for the state, and the intent is, with Miss Natalie's help, to obtain $150,000 from this fiscal year from the state of Georgia, and $150,000 from next fiscal year from the state of Georgia, to account for $300,000 in support of re-roofing of that facility. So please expect that RFP will be coming to you very shortly. Our new financial software, Tyler Technologies, will go live July 1st. The work Erica and her team have invested in the training and transfer of financial data is coming to an end, and we're moving to the new software it's just around the corner. This has been a tremendous effort. The lift that this team has done, not only have they been keeping track of all of our financial software, all of our financial requirements in the old software, but they have been moving and converting all of the software or all the data into the new software. So they have been double working this year. So I just want to stop for a second and say thank you to Erica and her team for the great job that they have done. I would also like to say a special thank you to Mike Wyndham and the team for the work they've done to deliver a comprehensive IT contract to the board this evening. So kudos to Mike and his team. Also a special thank you for the great work by Dr. Cheryl Burks and the graduating class of Spalding U. Dr. Burks, thank you for the awesome job. You knocked it completely out of the park for our inaugural class, so thank you very much. Finally, I'd like to say a special thank you to the Board of Commissioners for allowing me the opportunity to attend the UGA Carl Vinson Institute of Government Certified Public Management course. What an amazing group of people that I had the opportunity to partner up with over the last 9 months. who attended the Forsyth campus. They have become and will continue to be lifelong friends, and I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to be a part of that training. Mr. Chair, that's all I have this evening.
Deputy County Manager?
Yes, Commissioner Dutton mentioned earlier, in the evening about the bulky collection days. I just wanted to bring those dates up. That will begin on May the 28th, from 10 to 12, and then we will have 4 more dates in June. It has been posted and will be posted on all of our social media sites. These bulky days will be at the Carver Road Collection Center as well as the Woodruff Collection Center. And this is for free for all Spalding County residents. You're allowed one pickup truck or one 4x8 trailer load of bulky items per residence. More details to come. Just stay tuned on social media and you'll get all the details that you need. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Watts?
Yes, I want to say congratulations to the Spalding U class. You guys are awesome. Dr. Burt, great job. And I would like to see more people participate in it next year. And I also had the chance to visit the sheriff office last week. And the job that sheriff did have done out there at that jail is amazing. And like you say, we got an awesome sheriff. And that's all I got to say.
Okay. Commissioner Bolden?
It's been brought up to me a couple of times. Code enforcement, people are not seeing anything happening. I've loved to have just the stats because I know they're busting butt out there. I'd like to see the case numbers, like from magistrate, what's going through and everything, because I know they're really. I can tell the difference. I mean, just from seeing the things, anything I've ever called them about, they've been up Johnny on the spot. I had an issue up on Patterson Road last week, and TJ and them helped me out tremendously. They went above and beyond, so they were a great help on that. June 19th, Fairview Baptist Church. I was informed that I'm gonna have a community meeting out there, so y'all bring a box of rocks or tomatoes, whatever. Be one-on-one. You actually sit down and talk to me and fill me out. Like I said, I'm normally quiet up here, but it's just I got a lot to talk about here lately. And I'm just gonna say I'm just gonna try to stand by what I said from the beginning. My number one goal when I started being a commissioner was get people involved. Show up, show out. I mean, I don't get mad. I'll listen to you. You tell me whatever you're thinking. I'll take it. I'm a man. The only thing that's ever scared me in life, I've been shot at, stabbed, kicked in the head, is a pretty woman. That's the only thing that's ever scared me. But I'm still gonna fight to lower that millage rate, to lower taxes, and as always, 3 to 5 acre minimums are on my side of the county, District 4. I want to keep it rural as I can for as long as I can.
Vice Chair?
If you think he's kidding about having no fear, call him next time there's a snake at your house, because or a possum or a
beaver.
I mean, yeah, this guy doesn't flinch. Yeah, I want to say welcome to our new county clerk. All right, we're excited to have you. I'm just tickled by all the Spalding U folks, and what a great job you've done, Doctor. Thank you so much. And I thought her singing voice was good, but apparently she can lead a whole choir, so this is pretty good. Dr. Ledbetter, congratulations once again. Man, I just can't tell folks what an amazing unicorn of a county manager that we have. We are just so lucky to have somebody of your caliber and of your work ethic and of your integrity in this job, and we just can't thank you enough for doing all the hard work.
Thank you, sir.
Just the perfect storm of employees. We've got the top EMA director in the state, top fire chief in the state, top sheriff in the state, top parks. And you go, Spalding? Yes, Spalding. They give out one of these awards, and we won all of them. You know what I mean? Like, little Spalding does, on our budget with our cuts. Like, yeah, we have the best of everything, and it's unbelievable. And I just can't shout it from the rooftops enough how lucky we are. We've got some of the best judges. And again, as somebody who goes in front of lots and lots and lots of judges all the time, we have some of the best judges in the state. And our district attorney, I mean, good grief, it's just a perfect storm of folks. I'm excited about the changes to the collection centers. I think this will increase the total amount of hours per week that it's open, that will be open. I think that, you know, this is not the first changes we've made. I've said it before, I'll say it again. This is not the first change we made, and it won't be the last. We will continue to keep honing in on this to try to maximize it for everybody. You've got your marching orders on how do we expand it even further without breaking the bank. And then looking into lowering those taxes specifically on homeowners. There's a wildly disproportionate amount of tax comes from homeowners, and I just don't like it. So let's get on that. Thank you. That's all I got.
Okay, first for the commissioners, it is time for Steve evaluation. You'll be seeing stuff from me coming out. We're going to do it in June and finish it up in June. So everybody,
Spoiler alert on mine.
everybody get ready for that. I want to thank staff, Steve and you and your staff for what you did with the budget, pulling this together and making the tough decisions when you knew that they were going to be people not happy. I appreciate that, and being able to stand up and give us the data we needed to be able to say this is why we made the decisions to do that. And I'll talk about that again in a minute. Thank you to Commissioner Dutton for Facebook issues and taking them on and saying, hey, this is how we're doing. I appreciate that. Most of us don't do that. So everybody knows the governor signed a bill that said in Spalding County, we're going to have an opportunity to vote on senior school taxes in the November timeframe. I'm excited about it. I want to thank our representatives Karen Mathiak and Beth Kemp and our Senator Marty Harbin for getting that through the General Assembly. Whichever way it goes is okay with me. What's important is the citizens get to make this decision instead of politicians. We're going to get to vote on how it goes and whether the taxes on seniors are reduced or not for schools. It doesn't matter to me. It's an issue of let the citizens decide, and then we'll take it from there. Same thank yous that we've heard, Dr. Burks, Tanya, Steve, for what you all have done. I truly appreciate it. It is good stuff that you're doing for us on a day-to-day basis. I appreciate all of you that came out tonight. This is a culmination. Remember, we will, let me make some comments about the budget. Although I voted against it, it was for one specific reason. We hear almost every day from taxpayers that say belt tightening. And you listen to Commissioner Dutton talk about belt tightening, and we try to do that. Then out of 50,000 voters, 200 say you're tightening it in the wrong place, or you're doing something in the wrong place to be able to do that. The key thing for this budget, as far as I'm concerned, so there's no doubt about it, in November, the citizens said to us loud and clear, reduce taxes. This is the first year we're going to reduce taxes in forever on the homeowners. We've reduced millage rate for the last 3 or 4 years to be able to try to do that. The assessments have been a problem for us, but this year with the assessments and with the Dr. Ledbetter's budget that we've approved tonight, we should see an improvement. I was talking to a focus group, and the focus group was nice enough to turn around and say, and it's only $19? Can't you do better than that? I understand that, but it's in the direction we're trying to move in, and we'll try to do it better. The pay study that Commissioner Dutton talked about is causing us to have people wanting to come in. Before we did the pay study last year, we had 100 vacant spaces. That means when citizens came in and tried to do something with us, there were not people there to service them. We are now in the smallest number that I have seen us in 15 years on people being able to come in and have the services provided properly. That has to do with taking the money, figuring out what needs to be done, and taking care of compression and decompression pay. We're spending money right now trying to take care of homeless folks. We have about 300 homeless folks in our county. We think that is not acceptable. We should be doing something about it. We're taking a bite out of that, or trying to take a bite out of that group with about 130 veterans, and trying to set up a place for the veterans to be able to start getting back on their feet and starting to move forward. We're excited about that. When you walk out there and you see people who don't have a home, who are living in cardboard or sleeping under the stars and rain, it's hard on your heart to be able to do that. And we, the commissioners, feel compelled to do something about it. The road money, 5 years ago, we had no money in the budget for roads. Since that time, we've put a line item in there, and we've been able to keep that money in the budget, and then we passed the T-SPOS. So everybody knows we are looking for, in a 2-year period, to probably pass a SPLOS. 2 years out, we're trying to figure out what that looks like, what should be in it. You heard the Vice Chair talk about the 3 things that are currently on our minds. If you've got ideas, please don't hesitate to come and talk to us about them. We want to hear what you think are the priorities for our county. It is not easy to be able to say no to lots of people and look for that one kernel that's going to change stuff. We have to, in some cases, plant the seed, water the seed, grow this tree, so that in years to come, the big oak tree is there and people's lives are better in this county than they are today. Unfunded mandates are killing us. They come from the state. They just flat give us the stuff, like the second court judge, state judge. Yes, we've got 6,000 people in our county that are not having their cases taken care of year after year. We've got to do something about that. We agreed to do it, but trying to find $2 million more to be able to run it for a year, awful hard to do it. That's just one mandate that they just threw on us and said, here, you suck it up and eat it. The thing for probation is another one. Yes. They just changed the numbers and said, all right, you need more people, buy more people. What are we supposed to do about that? How are we supposed to eat that other than to come back to you and say, we're going to take more taxes? And what are we doing this year? We're going to lower taxes. So somewhere we're tightening the belt pretty damn hard. Commissioner Dutton talked about keeping reducing the millage rate. Since I was on with Commissioner Dutton this time and with Commissioner Bolden, other than the 2 years that we did the ARPA funds, in which the federal government gave us $13 million and said, if you reduce taxes, we'll take it back, and we kept hold of it. Other than those 2 years, we've reduced the millage rate every year. Dr. Ledbetter has been leading that charge on trying to show us how to be able to do that. So I'm very, very pleased with the budget, except for one item in it, and we don't have a line item veto, but I raise my hand on where I think we should do and what we should do. And I understand the other commissioner's thought process on it. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. County Attorney?
No, sir.
Deputy County Clerk?
No, sir.
Citizen engagement?
The only thing is that the listening tour will begin in June with the commissioners coming to the different areas, their areas, and the other commissioners are welcome to go to that area, but we have meetings set up throughout the county that is called the listening tour, and just basically you get to engage and interact with them for a couple of hours, and that will be out on our social media, and it'll be put in the paper. So, but it will begin the one June the 8th is our first one. So be on the lookout for that.
Okay, back to the county attorney.
This has nothing to do with my legal services. I did just want to shine a light on the fact that May is Women's Health Month, and the Irish Charter chapter of the American Business Women's Association celebrated 40 years in Griffin last week, and we had an event with over 80 women where we focused on women's health. We had a guest speaker from from Wellstar's Women's Health Service Line, and also we focused on and provided a service project for an organization called Hearts of Teal, which was started by a woman by the name of Kimberly Earhart, who herself is a two-time ovarian cancer survivor, and she is an amazing woman, and we did a service project for her, which will go to over 300 teachers in Spalding County. It's lunch bags with information about gynecological cancers that are very hard to detect.
I'm pretty familiar with. Okay. Anything else from anybody? Any last minute comments? All right. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. All those in favor, raise your hand. We're adjourned. Thank you all.